I've been in a place in heaven called the realm of the overcomers. And I've been in another realm on the outer edges called the realm of the least. I've been in both of those realms. I've been in 3 of them, starting back in 1996. And I remember when I was finally allowed to get to the realm of the overcomers. I was wanting to get there the whole time, but I had some appointments that I had to hear from some people in the various realms. Well, anyway, so I finally was able and encountered to get down to where I wanted to be the whole entire time. And Jeremiah was standing to the right of me here, and the Lord was standing right there, and I was ready to hear everything he would have to say to me. And lo and behold, he didn't use Jeremiah to speak to me. It really bothered me, Joe. But he had a point in that. He always has a point in that because he wanted to teach me something. And here's what I learned in that encounter. It's 1996. He said, "You think that I stop using my servants after they leave this flesh, and you think wrong." He said, "Leaving this flesh is but the beginning of my using of my vessels." So that's communication with the dead. They're not dead. Whoever said they were. Being out of this body doesn't make one dead. Anyway, this is going everywhere. But I've talked so little about these things and been sitting on it since 1996. Well, anyway, so Jeremiah was relaying direct message from the Lord to me. But here was what I wanted to tell you. The glory of the Lord that was in that place was incredible. There's nothing, obviously this is true, there's nothing on earth like it yet. There will be on this earth where the Lamb and the bride are going to reign from, right on this earth. Isn't that good, Bryce? You read about it, Revelation chapter 5. Just read, you can read it. Tells that to us directly. Well, anyway, so I'm looking at this robe on Jeremiah. That's what caught my attention. This robe had depth to it. There was a thickness to the robe, not like anything on earth. It's several inches thick, which was actually a part of God's honoring of Jeremiah, was that thickness of the robe. And it wasn't white as we would think white. It was transparent white. It's all the colors forming that white. Transparency. I talked about this the other night, and you might have thought I was crazy, but when you read Revelation 21 about the new city of Jerusalem, we're told, "Come, let me show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb." Shows in the new city. And the city, transparency is there. That's a key ingredient of the nature of Christ within us is transparency. Wouldn't you agree with that? Well, the robe is transparent, with all the colors of the rainbow and beyond bound up in the robe itself. But here's what I really wanted to tell you. When I looked at Jeremiah, and the glory of God on Jeremiah was no different than when I was looking at the Lord. Now that is the Lamb and the bride. No different. I could see no distinction. I'd come out of the realm of the release. There had been several encounters involved in that, and I'd moved forward through the inner realm and down to the overcomer realm. And all of those realms had looked to me, when I was in the realm of the least, there's a glory of the presence of God there that's not like anything on this earth yet. But when I looked back from the realm of the overcomers onto that realm, it was outer darkness itself. That's strange, isn't it? Shocked me. Is that more information than what you wanted? In the realm of the least, there was a large number of preachers. Extraordinarily large number of preachers. And in the realm of the overcomer was a large number of nameless nobodies who we've never heard anything about, who really had it going on in their relationship with the Lord. Because it's never about what we do firstly. It's about who we know and then what He does through us. And it doesn't have to be heralded. It doesn't even have to be known. Isn't that true? It's always been true. Part of the great test for those in the realm of the least had been what we've been talking about, making a name for themselves. What a test that is, and few there are who can survive that test without their name becoming more important to their hearts than the name of the Lord. The fear of the Lord was all over me when I was in the realm. It wasn't the entire time, but in the realm of the least, because of those who were coming up to me and talking to me. I wouldn't call their names, but because some of them did not live that long ago and had major impacting ministries in this nation, but are in the realm of the least. And all over this issue of name. Babylon is strong, isn't it? In our ranks, and we must allow the Holy Spirit to root it out of us. Wouldn't you agree with that? There's a name that's above every name. And I agreed with the Lord. Let me tell you an experience. I don't know, I don't think I ever told you this, but this is back in, I think it was 99 or 98. I was living in Kansas City at the time. I think Troy and Robbins heard this pretty sure. Y'all can shut your ears. Throw something at me. I was in this experience, found myself suddenly in this experience, and it was a wedding ceremony. And the Lord was standing there, dressed up nicely, and He was performing the wedding ceremony. But He was also the bridegroom who was saying to me, I take you to be mine. And He went through that in a formal way. And then He looks at me and He said, now, do you take me? And I was preparing to respond. If I've learned anything in these experiences, is silence is golden. Because you don't need to speak, because it's at this level, you know, without any communication. And they know. The Lord and everyone else knows what you're thinking. I've stuck my foot in my mouth so many times by thinking. You know, wish I had never thought that. And got busted for it every time. You know, what can I say? But anyway, so He turns to me, says that to me, and before I can answer, though, He says, will you give up your name in order to take my name? That stopped me from saying anything other than, you know, God, that Jehovah Sneaky tricks you into asking questions that you don't want to know the answer to. I said, what's in a name? He said, your identity. He said, if you're going to take my name, you must give up your name first. He said, remember, at my name, every knee bows and every tongue confesses. And then while I'm in this encounter, I have a vision. When He said that, it triggered this vision of men and women's names and faces throughout Christianity, where we've elevated our names above the name of the Lord. I saw it on CDs, and I saw it in meetings and all kinds of things going on. I was living in Kansas City at the time. Took me to the city I was born in, Nashville, Tennessee, in the Christian industry there, and was showing me how the names of men and women had been elevated above the name of the Lord. And so anyway, the encounter went on, and you know, I was weeping and wanting, as in all these things, I just don't watch and listen and then go on my merry way. I want to be conformed. So I come out of the experience. My friend Eric Griffin was with me. We prayed a lot there in Kansas City together. Our families were close. He and I were close. And he said to me, he said, Terry, he said, what was going on? He said, I could smell burning flesh. I said, yeah, it was my flesh that was burning. It's meant to burn our flesh, isn't it? So From that day to now, I have never, obviously, forgotten the significance of being joined to the Lord, to being His bride. And the necessity, when you see this work going on in our lives, that we lose our names in that sense. In anything that would want to exalt itself above the Lord Himself. Anything that would have wanted to exalt itself, here's the way Paul would write it, above the knowledge of Christ. Hey, David. How you doing, brother? I'm not interested in making a name, the Babylonian spirit, to make a name for myself. I have no interest in that. The Lord told me, again, I'm just going down the list here. I could go on and tell you the rebukes. I have so many of them, but I appreciate them. I've become a masochist. I like pain. I remember the Lord telling me one time, He quoted Philippians to me. He said, or Paul writes this, he said, I made myself of no reputation. He said, and I aim to make you of no reputation as well. He wasn't kidding. He's dealing with the name. If my name, your name, gets in His way, He loves us enough to deal, whatever is necessary, to deal with us and do what needs to be done. I love Him for that, don't you? I don't want waywardness. I don't want half-heartedness. I don't want anything that may be temporal pleasure on this earth, success according to man's measurement. I want to know the Lord. Don't you?